Hello and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. Right now we are not on Avalon, we are nearby, but I have been doing some exploring. I was checking out a map of Mist and I noticed that there are some swamp biomes nearby and they weren't near to the journey that I took to get over to Avalon, so I figured that some of those areas may have not been loaded yet, so if we were to go exploring them then maybe we would find something that's been added to the game since the Hermitcraft map was made, and here it is. I found a witch hut, and you know what this means. You know already, it means a witch farm. And I know Hypno is building one as well at the moment, and I don't think if I do this I'm going to go full throttle with it. We'll just do it a bit at a time, but it's a project that I'd really like to undertake, and I think the rewards of doing such a project are well and truly worth it. I mean, an infinite supply of glowstone and redstone is just... that's pretty invaluable, you know. That's something I definitely want to do because you have to go mining or exploring the Nether to get either of those, so that would be a great source of resources there. And yeah, as I said, I'm going to take this slow. It's not going to be a full-on project. I'm just going to do it based on how I feel like, you know. And I think I'm going to start off by setting up an outpost out here and chopping down some of these trees. But I was looking around at this, and in case you don't know what a witch farm involves, it involves building a perimeter because witches are going to spawn in there, but you need to stop mobs spawning everywhere else in order to get lots of them spawning. But the swamp biome is kind of ideal place to start a project like that off because you're going to cover the surface all with water so that no mobs can spawn on it, and a lot of this land is already flat, so there's just a bunch of dirt to dig out and some trees to chop down. Although we do have some extreme hills biome off in this direction which could cause a bit of a problem, but I do have plenty of TNT, and blowing up land with TNT is a lot of fun as well. So what I think I'm going to start off by doing is hooking up a portal first of all. I'm not sure where I'm going to put that, probably a few blocks away from the witch hut, maybe around here because we'd have to move it later on when we build a farm in that location. And then I'm going to hook it up in the Nether, so we've got a good way of getting over here. I'll do one of my other Nether tunnels with the lava on either side again, I think, although it would be a fairly long one. But yeah, we're just going to get an outpost set up first of all, and then I can start by chopping down some of these trees. So here is our Nether portal. It's been hooked up, and we'll go through and have a look. It was actually a lot closer to the other Nether tunnel than I thought it would be, and I've already cleared out all of this netherrack here ready for when we put in the lava tunnel. And the other one, the other portal, is just over to the left. It's really just a few blocks around the corner there. But I'm not actually going to make any of that yet because we might be moving this in the future. This might be a little too close to the witch hut. In fact, I'm fairly sure it is, so when I know the numbers I'll probably be moving this to a better location. But anyway, we are ready to start conditioning this area. I'm going to start off by chopping down some trees. So I've made a fair amount of progress. It's taken me not too long, but there's a lot more to go obviously. And I noticed that there's tons of clay around here because of course we're in a swamp biome. We've got loads of low lands like this with the water over the top. You can see there's some clay there. So I thought while I'm doing this, this is going to be a good opportunity to stock up on clay as well. I've already got a fair amount of it, but because it's one of those resources that you can't farm, it's always good to pick some up wherever you are where there's clay. So there's something else that we're going to be doing here as well, which is harvesting loads of that. And as always, it's interesting to see how many resources you get from these projects as well. So I figured as we go along, the only items we'll put in the chests over here will be the ones that we gather from around here. So when this project is finally finished, which could be a long time, we can come over and have a look at all the resources that we've gathered. So I've done a lot more now. Off in the distance you can see there are less trees, and doing all of this has given me some time to think about this whole project. And you know what, I think this place could be a lot bigger than just the witch farm. And I think, yep, he's angry. You are going to get an arrow to the face, my friend. I didn't even look at you. Come on, let's just deal with this guy and then I'll continue explaining. Did he go through the Nether portal? Oh, we got to see. We got to go through and see. Okay. Yep, he did. I can hear him. Take that. And oh, there's a chicken here as well. Hello. And now that's gone back through the portal. Okay, so yeah, all this time spent over here gave me some time to think, and I saw some squid swimming around, which gave me the idea that rather than removing all of this land and having water everywhere, that we could do the opposite thing and actually fill it all in with land, and it's kind of ideal because a lot of this area is shallow as well, and in that way we can remove all of the water in the perimeter and build ourselves a squid farm, which would be a pretty crazy thing to do as well, but it's kind of ideal since you know, we're killing two birds with one stone in a sense, but possibly more than that as well. Now, I expressed that I didn't like the idea of doing an iron farm over at Avalon, and possibly we could even build one of them over here, which got me thinking that if we're building a perimeter, then we've got the ideal location for all types of farms, so maybe even another mob spawner, perhaps one above ground, so we get drops from it quicker, because all the mobs will be falling straight down rather than slowly coming up through the mob-evator and then going through the valve system. So there is a lot of opportunity and potential for this area, a lot of things that we could be doing, but the next thing that I want to do is just figure out the spawning area for the witch hut. Now, I don't know exactly how to do this, and I know that JL2579 and Docm have done a lot of stuff on this, so I'm probably going to be checking out their videos to find out how big the spawning area actually is, and then I'm going to build a perimeter around it, and by that I mean making the outlines so we've got a big square and I can figure out how far it is I'm going to actually build all this perimeter. So I don't want to go too close over there because that slime is making a lot of noise, but you can see that I've put cobblestone around the outside of the witch hut, and this is the bounding box, and I've got to say thanks to Docm for his tutorial on this. It was very useful, and I'll put a link to that in the description box. But what we have to do next is go 128 blocks from each side of it, all the way out, and then make a huge line so we're making a giant square which will become the perimeter. And I'm going to make that out of these half slabs. I'm going to put them down in a line, and if you remember, I said that I was thinking of filling in all the water so we could make this a squid farm as well. Well, my idea with that was to do a huge pattern involving glowstone and a bunch of other materials that would cover the entire area, and then that way it'd all be lit up. But the thing is, we're in a swamp biome, so lots of slimes can spawn up here, so I think I'm actually going to half slab the whole place with these ones, which look really nice, and when it's finished I imagine it'll be quite a view just to see an entire area half slabbed out like that. But we're going to take it one step at a time, and the first thing I'm going to do is put in the perimeter. So I've just laid down the last slab, and that is our perimeter done. If you look down there, you can see what I've done. I've dug out all the way to the top there, and that's because I want to remove everything on the inside of the perimeter. But check this out, a really nice big hill over here as well, which is pretty cool. But yeah, over in this corner there is a lot of extreme hills, so I'm going to have to get the TNT out at some point for this, and the alternative would be to light all of this up with some torches, but I'd rather just flatten it all because that would be, you know, much more spectacular. So next, I'm not sure what it is I'm going to be doing, probably just more removing trees, and I think what I might do is go to one corner and work my way in, so that'll include filling up any water like this and just removing everything as I come in and half slab from the corner. But yes, a lot of work to do. So I thought I'd show you a bit of the process on how I'm going to do this. What I've done is I've picked this corner over here, and I want to remove this landmass that is in this area. And what I've started off by doing is half slabbing all of the water that was one deep, so you can see put it on top of those blocks there, and then the rest of this is 2 or more blocks deeper. Now this is probably going to be the easiest part of doing all of this, is just putting the slabs in. The one deep water is quite quick, and then removing all of this sand won't take too long either. It's filling in all of this that's going to take me a long time, and I'm probably going to leave that to last. I think what I'll do is I'll go around and find all of the land masses and the areas where it's just one deep, and do all of that first and leave this till last. And my plan is to fill it all in with dirt, although I might use a sand generator. I'm not too keen on using them, but for filling in something like this it wouldn't bother me too much, because yeah, it'd just be filling in water. I wouldn't be using it for anything aesthetical, but I've got plenty of time to think about that because we got tons of work to do. So I thought I'd turn on the camera and give you a quick update. I've half slabbed all of that land that we were in a moment ago, and then I've been half slabbing all of the shallow water around this land here. And what I want to do next is remove this land and half slab it, and also get rid of these little patches of water in here. These are more than one deep, but I'm going to remove them now, and then we'll leave the main bulk of water till later. But what I thought I would do next is just play doing all of this for an hour solid, and then record a little update again, so you can get a good idea of how much time this takes me to do. So just over an hour has passed and I've slabbed around the witch hut here, all the way down there, done all of this bit of land over here, and the land we were on a moment ago, that's all been slabbed as well. And oh, I tell you what we should do, we should tower up and get a view from above, that would be cool. And I was just thinking as well that maybe one of the next things I should do is actually set up the witch farm and get that running so we can kind of see the rates increase as we do this. And now that I go up here, all of what I've done doesn't look like a lot all of a sudden. We can actually get a good view of the border from up here as well. I've just realised I should have stood on top of the witch's hut, then you'd see it go the whole way around. But you can just see there's a line there going all the way across. There's the corner, but we can't really see it over that side. So yeah, a hell of a lot of work still to be done. So I've done this patch of land over here. It took a long time, and then I come over here and it doesn't really look like I've done that much. And there is a marker there as well to note the entrance to a caving system, so I'm going to use that later to do some caving. And what I've started work on now is the spawning platform, and you can see we're in the new snapshot as well because we've got the names of the tools. I'm not really sure if I like that. It seems a little bit pointless, but I don't know, it doesn't look too bad. Anyway, what we're going to be doing over here is using shifting floors, and I've got a feeling that this might have been fixed in this patch, the one that's just been added as well. So this is where the witches can actually spawn, on these two floors, so I need to make them slightly bigger so we can have pistons on either side to push them back and forth. And then they can run on a timer, and yeah, every so often that the redstone sets off, it's just going to push the floor one way, and when it does that, the mobs are hopefully going to fall through. Now, they don't do it if they're moving. If they're walking around on the platform, they won't fall through, but if they're standing in the same position, then they're going to fall through. And because we're using half slabs, they won't take any damage whatsoever, which I've just realised is only really relevant for an XP farm, which is not what we're making here. We want this to be a fully automatic witch farm. But yeah, anyway, so I'm going to wire up the pistons on either side and then build a water system underneath to collect all of the witches and a basic drowning trap. And then hopefully at night time we'll get a couple of spawns, although I haven't seen any since the first one that I found in the witch's hut. So yeah, probably not going to see any for a while. I just went over to my chest to get some half slabs, and on the way back I've seen that 2 witches have spawned inside here, which is excellent. That is a good sign that we are doing the right thing here. So I've just finished setting up the pistons on either side and a basic drowning trap and collection area at the bottom, and a witch has spawned in there, so this is a perfect opportunity to test and see if the shifting floors still works. So it's this one here, we've got to be careful, and it does. That is good to know. And now we can test if the drowning trap is going to work. It looks like it is. Okay, that looks good. Let's go around to this side. And if we just hop up here, we should be able to see the witch drowning. Yep. Do they actually drown? Is a good question. I'm not sure if they do. What are they doing here? Oh, they're just derping around, and you can see they're taking damage as well. So in a moment she's going to drown and we're going to get her drops. And yeah, then this thing I guess works temporarily. What I'll do is I'll set up some redstone to control these so they alternate. Every so often they'll shift from either side, and that'll be a working witch farm right there. Now there's a few changes that I want to make to this, and I think it's just for aesthetical reasons. At the moment everything that we have here actually works, but yeah, it doesn't really look that nice, but I've got plenty of time to think about that, and I guess we'll have to wait for the witch to drown. I think I know what the problem here is. She's healing herself with a regeneration potion or something, so she's not actually going to die. That's why you have to kill them with full damage, so I guess I should build a full damage trap then. It's been a while since I last recorded. I've done a lot more half slabbing over there, and I've also been working on the full damage trap. Now, I've got some vines here and I was just looking at those. I put them in to reset the full damage, and you would do that to make it consistent so that any witches that come from here will all have the same damage when they hit the bottom. Now that's something that you do in an XP farm, But because we're just killing them, it seems kind of pointless to do this, so I'm actually going to remove this in a moment, and that means that the trap we're building at the bottom can be 3 blocks higher, which saves me digging down a little bit further. I've still got to count it again, but I think we're at the right height now. I've been testing in a test world to make sure the witches actually get killed falling at that height. But what we're going to be building down the bottom here is a full trap damage, a full damage trap designed by JL2579, and what this does is it uses half slabs that are like this, and there's tripwire, so they're normally like this, and then when the witch falls through the tripwire activates, the witch is going to hit that, and then it's going to die, and it's going to flip back up, and the drops are going to fall down into the water stream. Now the problem with this is that we need these trapdoors to be on the bottom side of a half slab block like that. So what we're going to have to do is set up a bunch of pistons with some sand on and put the trapdoors on top, and then push them up one block so they'll be in this position on the block below against a half slab like that. It's going to take me a fair bit of time to do. What I plan on doing is just showing you a couple of steps as I do it, because that might be useful for you, but I'll also link to JL's tutorial in the video description. There's going to be a few videos on witch farms down there to check out. Okay, everything should be set up now, and it's going to be a bit of a cramped operation, but what I thought we would do is do this together. I'm going to place these blocks down this side here, and on the other side as well, so that we can place trapdoors on them. And when we place them by default, they're... oh, okay, that was weird. There we go, so we place them like that. And now when we power the redstone on either side, we do this side first. You can see we've pushed them up, and now they're on the underside of this block, which is just a half slab. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. And that is how you do that bit. Now what we've got to do is put in tripwire hooks somewhere up here. I think there's a certain height they have to be at, so the timing is correct that these will be down when they get hit. And we've also got to put a bunch of redstone torches above them like this, so that they will be open by default. So I'll do those and I'll show you in a moment. So the redstone has been set in place, and when this is powered, we're going to turn off all of these torches and open the trapdoors for a moment. And they're powered by these tripwire hooks. I've still got to put in the ones on the other side and wire those up as well, but this is basically how it works. When the witch falls through the string, it's going to activate the tripwire hook, which powers this block, which is next to this redstone, so that gets powered as well. So this side here is actually working at the moment. I've still got to wire up the other one. I say it's working, it's not, because I haven't put in the string yet, but when I've done that, then it will be working. But all I'm going to do next is tidy all of this up. You can see I've got half slabs going all the way up to the top, so I want to keep the nice and clean look, but when that's done, this thing will technically be functional. We still need to build a timer up top to get those floors shifting every so often, but what I think I'll do when this is done down here is try running around for a bit, see if I can get some witches to spawn, and then we can test this. Okay, it looks like we have 5 witches, and I've just come up from the top. I finished setting up the trap at the bottom, so let's be careful not to get hit by another potion. Okay, it looked like a couple went down. Let's activate the one on the other side. Okay, there's still 2 up the top. Oh, and 1 there as well, and now I've been poisoned. That's great. Down you go. Hit this one more time, hopefully we'll get them through. Oh, there's still 1 up the top. I tell you what, that'll do. We only want to do a simple test. Okay, let's have a look. And I think that means it works. It is possible actually that they just fell straight down onto the ground if it didn't work. So I guess I need to do another test with water down here as well. And that's the reason why we're setting this up, because if the mobs fall into the water, well, they're going to survive, because they changed it so that any mob or even the player falls into the slightest amount of water, then they're going to eliminate all the fall damage. So I've set up a water stream down the bottom, so I'll be testing that, and what I'm going to do next is set up the clocks so that this thing will actually be running. So what I've done is I've dug down into this little area, and then I've come to the wall here and I've gone left and right until we've met up with this bit here, so I can see where we're going to be sending the redstone to. We're going to be powering this block here because it powers everything above. So down in this little space here, I'm going to clear out all of this dirt, and we're going to build ourselves a redstone clock. So this is the clock. I've gone for something ever so simple for now. I think later on I might invest some time in researching a better clock than this, but you can see what's happening here. We've just got a loop, this little pulse is going around this circuit repeaters, and then it branches off, it powers the pistons on that side, goes through a few repeaters, and then powers the one on the other side. So now our witch farm is fully set up. We do still need to test that it works with water down the bottom, but otherwise that is fully functional, which leaves me just to do the rest of this around here. Now at some point I do want to come back and rebuild this, make it look really nice, and there'll be other things to do as well, like making the downstairs area really nice, hooking it up to a Nether Portal as well, so we got some proper little area down there to get to the witch farm. So I guess there's nothing more for me to do at the moment than go back to half slabbing. I'm starting to get a bit bored of this, as you can imagine. I've half slabbed all of this around here, I've done a bit just over there. I've even half slabbed another island off in the distance that way. And I realised that all of this isn't contributing to the witch farm at the moment. This is all for the squid farm that we'll be building later on, because we're removing all of this water so that there's no other spaces in this perimeter for them to spawn in. So what I think I'd like to do now is actually start to increase the rates of the witch farm, and whatever we do, it's not going to be a lot until we go caving, which is something I don't think I'm going to do straight away. I want to get more of the surface done, because as soon as I do caving, the rates will go up, and then there'll be less motivation to do all of this. So I got interrupted by a phone call there, and what I was trying to say is that I want to blow up all of this land over here, because as we remove this stuff, we will be removing spawnable areas, so our rates will slightly increase. But really not a lot for the amount of work that's involved. But it's something that I want to do, is just remove all of this and half slab the entire area. Now I've been stocking up TNT for a long time, about 10 or 12 stacks of it I have now, and this would be the reason why for a project like this. If you look over there, you can see a bit of the border. There's another bit of it just over there, and it leads over to somewhere around there. You can see would be the corner, so it's all of this that we need to blow up, and that's going to be another huge project of its own, but it's best just to make a start and get a good idea of how long that will take to do. Okay, I've put down 16 blocks of TNT. Haven't really given it too much thought to where I've put them, and maybe I'll do this in a different way later on, see if I can get a chain reaction going, something more efficient. Step back and see how much that blows up. Not a lot. And it's not setting off a chain reaction. Yeah, I think the best way to do this is probably to dig tunnels through the landscape and then just set them off one after the other. Oh, there's another one here as well. Yeah, it's not doing a lot. I've got one here. And another one there. There's a few around here as well. And that's pretty much it. I think there's 2 more up top. Okay, maybe that is it. Alright, yeah, that did not do as much as I hoped it would. Okay, let's give this a try. What I've done here is I've dug 4 tunnels through a big bit of land, and I've just thought of something that I should have done different here, but I'll explain that in a moment. So it mostly goes through the stone, and then on top there's a lot of dirt, so I'm going to be using my shovel on that, but this should help get rid of the stone. And based on memory, I think you can put these every 5th block in a row, and it will detonate the one after it. So I've used about 20 TNT in total, which means there's an average of 5 in each of these tunnels, although this one is shorter. You can see the end, there's only 3 in there, so we'll set that one off first. Yes, that worked really well. Okay, I could have made that 1 block lower as well, and most of that up there will be dirt as it is. So let's set off these 3 one after the other. Stand back and watch. Okay, that is good to know. That worked really well. We could have put these closer together though. There's one thing I made a mistake. I thought it would blow out 2 blocks on either side, but it's only blown the 1. Although when there's dirt and stuff inside, you can see that has a lower blast resistance, so maybe that is a good method to do it with. Still got a lot of stone to remove from above as well, but you can see whenever we go outside there's lots of dirt up there. So I'm fairly sure I'm going to be using more TNT to get rid of this bit, but that is probably all I'm going to be doing for this episode. So I'm going to try and clear everything following this line down to the ends there, and get rid of all of this land and half slab it all. So after doing this section here, I've seen that my tools are starting to get a bit knackered, and it's also taken me a fair amount of time. So just to do this section here, I'd say we have well over 10 times the amount of that, probably a lot more, to clear around this whole area. I think there might be some more land off in that direction as well that needs clearing, and it's just going to take me such a long time. I think I need a beacon so that we can instant mine. That would make a big difference, but then we would still be burning through a lot of picks, so I probably need to go strip mining as well. And we could set up a strip mining operation here as well. That I thought I just saw a creeper. That could help me find some caves and stuff. But that is all I'm going to be doing this episode on the witch farm. I'm sure we'll come back to this project soon. It's been a lot of fun doing this so far, and a lot of work as well. If you do enjoy the episode, please give it a like. I've spent a lot of time working on this one, as you can see. It's been an insane amount of effort put into this. But as always, thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.